So, you started reading this book or watching this show, and you're pretty sure that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you definitely don't have enough people to share that fact with. What's a newbie fangirler boy to do? Why, turn to the internet, of course. There's a huge community of online fandom where there are people who are just as sure as you are that various things of which one can be a fan of are the greatest things since sliced bread. There's a whole host of places on the internet where activity happens, and even more varied kinds of activity happens in those places. All this might seem pretty intimidating to the uninitiated, but that's where I come in. Think of me as your trusty native guide to a stranger in a strange land. Over the course of this video, I'm going to be telling you where to find fandom on the internet, the kinds of people you're going to find there, the kind of stuff you can expect to see, and the way you'll be expected to behave during our visit. So you sitting comfortably? No? Go ahead, get comfy. I'll wait. You good? Then let's begin. So the first thing you're going to need to know to get involved with online fandom is where to look. First and foremost, Google is your friend. Type whatever you're looking for into that search box, add key phrases, and you're golden. When in doubt, consult Google. A true practitioner of Google Foo will rarely find themselves adrift in fandom's oceans. But you're here for more guidance than just Google it. So here are a few tips. 1. Search for message boards. Number 2. LiveJournal, or its more fandom-centered clone, Dreamwith. LiveJournal is a community-based blogging platform where you can create an account with extensive privacy controls. Tip number 3, Tumblr. Fandom has created a unique way of communicating for Tumblr's interface, involving the use of tags for commentary and organization, in addition to an extensive use of animated GIFs for expressing feelings, among other things. So now that you know where to go to find fandom spaces, you're going to need to know a few things about the people. Fandom is a rich subculture, and it comes with its own vernacular, customs, and traits. I could write books on the languages of fandom, so what we cover here will be necessarily incomplete. We're just going to hit the highlights. Shipping. No, we're not talking about shipping packages. In fandom, shipping is about relationships. Relationships. Shipping. Get it? As a verb, it is I ship those two characters. As a noun, it is they are my favorite ship. Usually it's used in a romantic context, but it can also be used platonically, generally with a qualification making that clear. But the default is that shipping is romance-related. Canon, or what actually happens in the source material. Now this sounds more straightforward than it actually is. Even in single source fandoms, the canon is up for interpretation. And then there's fandoms like Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who. These giants have TV shows, movies, books, commentary from creators, comic books, alternate universes, radio plays. These fandoms are constantly debating on what actually counts as canon. Gen, het, and slash. These are fan fiction terms. Gen refers to a fiction in which there is no romance or sex. Het refers to a fiction in which there is heterosexual romance or sex. And slash refers to a fiction in which there is homosexual romance or sex. A few final words about the locals. Some fandoms are old and large, and they have members that are more likely to act like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino when meeting a newbie member of fandom.
Get off my lawn.
Than they are to welcome said newbie with open arms. Don't let it scare you away. These fandoms often have communities of younger members where newbies can acclimate to the customs without as much trial by fire. So what can you look forward to as an active participant in fandom? The first and most basic form of fandom activity is discussion about the subject of the fandom. Posts that delve into detailed analysis, particularly those focused on character arcs, symbolism, theories about future plots in the story. These are often referred to as meta. Discussions and meta are fandom's bread and butter. Fanfiction is stories about the characters and or situations that are depicted in the source material of any given fandom. Now, the stereotype outside of fandom is that all fanfiction is crap. Well, a lot of it is, but not all of it. Some of it is very, very good. Contrary to popular perception, not all fanfiction is about sex. I mean, a lot of it is, but not all of it, I promise. Many fans are artists of various persuasions. The most common form of fan art that you're going to find is digital art, and the more traditional drawings and sketches. But you can find any kind of creative expression nowadays, from painting and sketching, to cross-stitch, to crocheting and knitting, modeling clay, jewelry, and even nail art. A fan video is clips from TV shows or movies that are set to a song that the video maker thinks relates to the characters or the plot somehow. A subcategory of fan vids is fan-made trailers. Additionally, fans who have talent in songwriting write songs about the source material that they love. This began with parodies called filks, but in recent years an increasing number of more serious songs have been written, and bands who book gigs and release CDs have been formed. Cosplay. This is short for costume play, and that's what fans call it when they dress up as their favorite characters. One activity fandom engages in you might not be aware of is advocacy and charity. Fandom is crazy and wild, but sometimes we like to use our powers for good. The community fans around novelist John Green, for example, has resulted in the creation of a charitable fund called the Foundation to Decrease World Suck, which works to decrease the amount of suckiness in the world by raising money, which is then donated to a variety of causes. Over in the Harry Potter fandom, you'll find the Harry Potter Alliance, which works on issues like literacy and social justice. Here are a few important rules to remember if you don't want to get yelled at by your new fandom friends. 1. In the Tumblr parlance, the first rule can be summed up thusly: don't tag your hate. Essentially, and more widely applicably, this means that if you don't like something, do not talk about how much you don't like something in a place where people who do like it are hanging out. Go somewhere and talk about it with other people who don't like it. 2. If the fiction, art, meta, etc. that you're posting contains material that might be triggering to others, warn for it. Don't sneak it on unsuspecting victims. You can do them real harm. The old guard fandoms might eat their young sometimes, and there might be some dark corners of fandom, but fandom also protects its own. 3. Speaking of things that you should warn for when posting, let's talk about spoilers. So whether you have advanced knowledge of something that hasn't happened yet in a TV show, or you're talking about the latest book in a series that just came out a few days ago, chances are that a large number of people in fandom won't know the information yet and won't want to have the surprise ruined for them. Even if you don't mind having the surprise spoiled, a large number of your new fandom friends will mind. So do them a favor and hide those spoilers after clearly marking them as such. Fandom is a huge community of passionate people, and it can be intimidating when you're new. But while I might joke about the old guard fandoms eating their young or the trolls lurking in the shadows, at its heart, fandom is about sharing the love of something or someone. It's about coming together from diverse backgrounds and finding common ground. It's about engaging with the media on a deeper level, consuming entertainment mindfully instead of mindlessly. But most of all, fandom is about having fun. So, welcome, and enjoy your stay.
This isn't Hogwarts, this is a concrete box. And the pictures on the wall are never gonna talk. And the teachers don't care, that the kids don't try. The most magical thing we have is fluorescent lights. And they don't put you on Hufflepuff if you're not cool. Instead they sort you in the parking lot after school. And I think if I looked into the mirror of Erised, I'd be wearing wizard robes with gold and red. I'm not saying I'm not proud to be a nerd, but public school ain't no place for a wizard. At public school, ain't no place for a wizard.